Evening, students are arriving for university laden with suitcases and waving farewell to their families, but not sure when they will see them again. Most of the teaching will be online, social life is likely to be extremely limited, and lockdown is an ever-present possibility. Today, the Education Secretary did promise that they could go home for Christmas, but they may have to isolate first. Our social affairs correspondent Fiona Lambden has been speaking to freshers.
Just some of the 8,000 new students arriving at Bristol University.
Obviously, you hear about Freshers' Week. That's what you look forward to when you go to university, as well as doing your course, obviously. But you're just not getting the same experience, and it's really sad because I was really looking forward to parties and stuff like that, but it just can't happen.
Like, we're paying £9,000 to be here, and we're not getting any kind of normal experience of what it would normally be like.
This term will look very different. Students can only mix with those they live with.
Everyone's in the rule of six and that, you know.
Moments before we filmed this, these flatmates had just met for the first time.
So we kind of have to, make our own plans. There's nothing you can kind of just oh, we'll go to that party, because they're just not on. So, yeah, it's a bit strange. But
the uni life's definitely sold on a lot of, the parties and the going out sort of life, the first time you're away from home. So it's different, definitely.
It's harder to socialise, meet new people, I'd say.
I mean, I've heard there have already been some parties. Do you think people will actually stick to the six?
Highly unlikely. I mean, people know when they come to university that they want, most people want a Freshers' Week, so they're going to find a way, I think.
But at least these students can still go out. Elsewhere in the country, others are in complete lockdown.
So I've literally just got my test. I'm walking back now to my university.
Tizzy from Wiltshire arrived in Edinburgh 2 weeks ago. Due to a local outbreak, she's not able to leave her halls of residence.
These are the food parcels that they deliver for the individual person that wants them. So yeah, it's been a very strange environment, quite unique. A lot of frustration and anxiety and nerves amongst us all, but equally a good friendship that's keeping us going.
And it's this lockdown scenario which Bristol is so desperate to avoid.
It's really important that everybody sticks to the rules, because we are here for teaching, for education and research. We want to keep the university open, and we want everybody to have as good experience as possible. So by sticking to the rules, it's a real community effort. If we all do that, we can all carry on doing what we love.
This 500-seat lecture theatre will remain empty on Monday when large-scale teaching resumes. That'll go online. However, for seminars and tutorials, it will be mandatory for students to wear face masks and visors, and they'll need to keep their social distance. Across the West, we've been told there are currently very low numbers of cases at our universities. Everyone's working hard to keep it that way. Fiona Lambden, BBC Points West, Bristol.
Well, joining me now is Professor Steve West, who is Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West of England. Thanks for coming in. Would they be better off, do you think, staying at home? Why bother?
No, I don't think they would be better off staying at home. What's the alternative? Everybody is having to find a way of coping with COVID-19, and young people want to get on with their lives. So I'm very clear that actually this is an opportunity, and most of the students I'm talking to want to grab that opportunity now.
There'll be thousands of students arriving at UWE. How many cases are you expecting?
So at the moment we have none on our campus, but you're right, our students don't really start coming back until the 13th of October. Our plans are that we can cope with what we're seeing in some of the other universities, which are large numbers, or we can cope with single numbers, and our scenarios allow us to do all of that.
So you're thinking about lockdown?
If we are instructed by public health and we work with our local public health, then yes, we would have to work with them, and if they say lockdown, we lock down.
So security on the doors and all that?
No, we're dealing with adults, and all of us, if we are identified in our own homes with our own families as being COVID-19 positive, then we all have a responsibility to act in a way that is sensible. So there's a lot of work that's going in to educate students around what they would have to do if they were tested positive, and we're working on a basically a friendship group that would be in a flat, and we would lock down that flat.
They are adults, but they're young adults, many just out of school. What are you doing to support them with their mental health?
OK, so we're doing an awful lot. The first thing is that we've had a 3-week block called Block Zero, which has been designed, and our students are already on that block at the moment. And it's about preparing them for life at university. It's about preparing them to understand how they're going to learn differently. It's about giving them the equipment that they'll need to study online. It's also about the values and the culture. And that's going incredibly well. So when they arrive, we all transition them into the university. So there'll be friendship groups that are already being made. So we're already linking students up. When they arrive, we just accelerate that. And we're working very closely with Student Union to do more of the social events that they would have had under freshers online.
Yeah, but it's not the same experience, isn't it? They're paying, what, £9,000 a year and then £5,000 a year perhaps for their accommodation. Could you make a big gesture and say, look, we know this is a rotten time for everybody. We'll chip in and help you with your fees?
So the fees, let's just be very clear about what the fees are, David. You know that this is a student loan company that provides a fee that comes to the university. The students are taking out a loan, and the students are not repaying that loan until they're in employment, once they leave and graduate the university, and once they're at a level that would start paying it back. This is a government issue that needs to be addressed.
But you could help, couldn't you?
I don't see how we could help. In terms of the fees. In terms of the fee, I don't think we could help. We can help in terms of supporting the students, in terms of if they are in isolation, food and all of those things. And we did last year, you know, when we had to send students back home because of the national lockdown, we said, we will waive all of your accommodation for that period. Okay. That cost the university £6.5 million.
Big money, all of it, isn't it? Thank you, Professor. Nice to see you. And let me just update you, nationally and locally, figures